Okay, at this time, we'll open up the Agency for Redevelopment. Ms. Baylor, will you please call roll?
Member Dalton?
Here.
Member Jones? Here. Member Rosen? Here. Vice Chair Wynn? Here. Chair Broadwater?
Here. We had one closed session item. There's nothing to report on it. We'll be coming back eventually. Oral communications is done. We'll go to consent items. Would you like to move on the minutes?
A second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Items for consideration. Acquisition of real property located at 11361 Garden Grove Boulevard, owned by Helen Nolan.
Mr. Chairman, members of the agency, for the past several years at agency direction, staff has been negotiating with Helen Nolan, the trustee of the Andrew and Helen Nolan Trust, to acquire the property at 11361 Garden Grove Boulevard. The subject property is part of a larger potential redevelopment site within the community center district. The proposed purchase price is $645,000, which is at fair market value established by an independent appraisal. The comparable sales used to establish the fair market value have been distributed this evening for your consideration. Based on the foregoing, staff recommends that the agency approve the agreement to purchase the property, authorize the agency director and secretary to execute the pertinent documents on behalf of the agency, authorize the finance director to draw warrant in the amount of $645,000 when appropriate to do so, and authorize the director and secretary to execute rental agreements on an interim basis at affordable rents pending the disposition of the property. And that concludes the staff report. If you have any questions.
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, three of the properties are located on Jefferson, Monroe, and Monroe.
Yes.
Are those all in Garden Grove?
As I understand that they are, but they used the most recent sale, which is right almost catty corner on the other side of Garden Grove Boulevard at 9th Street, which sold in February of this year for $65 a square foot, and that was the main basis for the value of this property.
What are the cross streets on the Jefferson and Monroe properties, do you know?
No, I don't have that information
The
with me.
Nelson property. How about Rosita? Where is Rosita?
Rosita is off of Westminster Avenue between Euclid and Rosita, which is Harbor.
So that's south of the freeway?
At the north side of the freeway, I believe.
Given the fact that Jefferson and the two Monroe Streets are both 13,000 addresses, are those south of the freeway? I'm going to say it again.
South of Garden Grove Boulevard.
They're south of Garden Grove Boulevard.
So I wanted to get them.
They're Midway City, aren't they?
No, they're in Garden Grove.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Any other questions?
Yeah, what's the intended use on the Shively piece is one of the little vacant pieces on the corner kind of across the street.
No, it's an improved house with a big lot that used to be dentist Dr. Shively, who passed away several years ago.
Okay, so that's the one with the house on it.
Yes.
Did the Shively sell the other parcel, the vacant one, kind of adjacent across the street?
I believe it's so. That I don't know.
You know if they sold that one? Okay.
No.
Entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. I will second it, seeing I'm not hearing a motion to second it. Call for the vote.
Right? I want to speak.
Go ahead.
This is another purchase of a parcel in the Civic Center area just east of City Hall between Civic Center Drive and 9th Street, and I've been voting against these acquisitions on a regular basis because what we're essentially doing is taking out an existing residential neighborhood, basically to land bank land for no particular purpose, with the possibility that we may use it for municipal purposes in the future. And I just have a problem with eliminating a residential neighborhood for that reason. I think this particular property is overpriced. I see the comps, but the last one was February of 2008. I think prices have dropped since then. I think we're overpaying for the property. So I'm going to vote no for those two reasons.
Go ahead.
Real quick question. When was the appraisal done on this? This is the, these are the most recent comps there were. Is there anything more recent? No?
The appraisal was done last month,
Okay.
June appraisal.
Well, I'd like to comment. I mean, basically, we own a number of properties in that area, and it is land banking. Mr. Rosen is right. But there's constant talk about increased areas for parks and that type of thing, and I do believe that that's what that's planned for in the long run. If there was any place that we need, if there's talk about putting in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, I think that would be a great place to put it in. I mean, it won't happen tomorrow, but someday it will happen. And I think that we're not taking that property out of, I mean, we're going to rent it, so it's not taken out of the housing area yet. I just think it's a good idea to keep doing what we're doing. It's a long, long process, and the only that property will only go up. It won't come down. And now is the time to take care of it.
You know, that's what people said a year ago, and it's gone down.
Well, it'll go back up.
Aside,
The people pricing gasoline will make sure of that.
aside from the price of the home, I think it's a strategic location for us to acquire that land. We've acquired a number of land in that area already, and with the size of the city growing, and I look more forward towards the future, us expanding our civic center for the community. I believe that sometimes it's very hard to round up a big chunk of land, and this is an opportunity. Yes, it is a little high, but not according to the comparison, is not that off. And because of future plans, I'd like to support this purchase.
I think, I've been a proponent of acquiring land in the Civic Center Drive, although not too long ago I voted against a couple pieces that I felt were extremely overpriced. I envision someday a new city hall, maybe a new police and fire facility, and an area on Civic Center Drive, somewhere in there where you can drive in and you can see it, and it looks like what this city really should represent. It's a professional city. We have a lot of great people here, and these opportunities, unfortunately, do slip by sometimes. And I can assure you that if we didn't buy it, I think it is a little bit overpriced, but on the other hand, I think that 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, or in the future, if it becomes available again, it's going to be so much we're going to be looking back and saying, gee, remember when we had the opportunity to buy that for this price? And it's certainly something that we want to add to that area, because Councilman Broadwater's right. We have been talking about parks. We have been talking about some other things. And the only way you can accomplish any of those things is by having a large site to do something with. And I'm going to go ahead and support it.
Just to add the comment, I mean, I bought my house. When I bought my house, it was extremely overpriced. Now, we look back and paying $44,000 for a house doesn't seem like that anymore, but I sure felt that way at the time. Call for the vote.
Motion received 4 yes votes with Member Rosen voting no.
Okay, is there any matters from agency members? Hearing none, at this time, we will close out the agency until next time.